So in December 2024, Love and Deepspace became the most profitable gacha game that month, surpassing over games like Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai, Genshin, Fate, Infinity Nikki, which is another like female audience game. But and I think there's a lot of like things to take away from this. First, I think it's good. I think that it's good that there's a game that is just completely broken off, and just said like, oh, we're gonna completely like. Usually, what you see in gacha games is like a very male-centric audience. Yes, there's like women that play gacha games, but most of all, it's just a very big audience of men, right? And there's a lot of like fan service, big booba, waifus, all that stuff. And it's very male centric. So I think that having a game that breaks away from this, like it breaks away, it's like, very much like focused to a female audience with the same kind of fan service, when it comes to like jiggle physics, kimpy outfits, but also again to a more target female audience, right? A lot of writing, a lot of comfort, just very much like Wattpad fan fiction, dark romance, like these kinds of things that women would read, right? And especially after the new like nightly rendezvous and the kinky Omegaverse BDSM event that we had for the Valentine's Day, right? I think that is good. I'm glad that there's companies, Paper Games, which is the parent company that owns Love and Deepspace. They had made previous games like this. In fact, we actually played it on stream. The previous game was Mr. Love, Queen's Choice or something. And you can definitely, I don't recommend you play that game because Love and Deepspace is just very much better, right? But you can see the seeds. And I'm glad that now that it's become this huge thing, because I've been playing Love and Deepspace on stream for like 8 months by now, 9 months actually. And I've seen it like come from like a pretty niche game that a lot of people didn't know was even a game. People thought it was just like an animation, to just completely taken over and like becoming this huge thing, right? And I think that's good. I'm glad that there's a game that is very much like catering to a new audience, giving like people a new thing to enjoy, right? Love and Deepspace has a lot of problems as well, especially with like LGBT representation. There's no male main character. They don't enjoy when people make BL stories of their characters, right? It is a Chinese game, those kinds of things are just bound to happen. But I'm glad that there is this precedent, right? Because now there's space for like other companies to make like different games, like make a BL version of like Love and Deepspace with the same level of budget, right? With the same level of production. And I think that's good. But also on the other side, every time there's a new gacha game that is taken over, same thing was with Genshin. There's a lot of like an influx of players, especially younger players. This game is 16 and up. You know that we need to have this conversation that games are supposed to be fun. And hear me out. Yes, obviously games are supposed to be fun, but the games are supposed to be fun by itself. I feel like when we play gacha games, and especially nowadays where every game has like microtransactions online, daily rewards, you gotta grind, you gotta do a lot of grinding to get even like a little bit of satisfaction. Games are supposed to be fun. When you sit on your chair, on your couch, on your bed, playing on your phone, and you boot up the game, you gotta have fun. You gotta take an enjoyment out of it. Regardless of how much money you put, regardless of like, you know what I mean? The games are supposed to be fun. And I say this because I feel like, especially with a lot of gacha games, Genshin is not like clean of this as well, Zenless Zone Zero. It becomes like this sort of like almost like a hassle of like, oh, I gotta do my daily quests. Oh, I gotta do this and that. And you catch yourself not having fun with the game itself unless you're doing gacha pulls, unless you're doing like putting money into it. So my recommendation is if you want to start, like if you've seen my videos and you want to start playing Love and Deepspace, for the first 6 months, don't put any money into it. Don't put any money. Just get the freebie stuff. Also be mindful of like the daily grind that they ask you to get the freebies, right? Because I think that Love and Deepspace takes a very chill approach where it's just like you just press a button to auto grind a few things, do a few tasks, talk with the boys, and then you can do that like in 10 minutes and get in all the free redeems. I think that's a pretty appropriate amount, right? It doesn't feel like a hassle Because at least like when I was playing Genshin, I played Genshin day one. I have my stream on YouTube still. It's archived because, you know, my stream was not that good back then. But I was there like streaming Genshin day one. I even called it Breath of the Waifu because I kept comparing it to Breath of the Wild, right? But after a few years, it just became a hassle to like always got you pull for characters and like the hours and hours that you had to put for daily quests and grinding for resources and going around the map. It just felt like a hassle. I wasn't enjoying it. So I just kind of like I still every now and then will re-download Genshin and play for a little bit and then like, you know, have a little bit of fun with that. But I don't usually play it as much as you want. I've been taking a very casual approach to gaming because I feel like that way I've just been having a lot more fun. And I feel like if you want to get into Love and Deepspace, because Love and Deepspace is a gacha game. There's a lot of critiques you can make of gacha games for being predatory. You know, they feed gambling addictions. People can literally get addicted to like a game like this. It's the same kind of dopamine. And especially when you're heavily invested into money, people can make very bad financial decisions. Like, I know that the amount changes from like how many resources you have or how much interest you have on it, right? But if you're gonna play this game, play it free to play for the first 6 months and always be responsible with how much money you put into it, right? This is my assessment, I guess. Because again, I think the game is good. I think I've played it for like, again, the first 6 months free to play. And while you don't choose the characters you do get a few 5 stars. You don't have a lot of work to get all the freebies. And you can enjoy it very much. So, yeah, I hope that people enjoyed the game because I have been as well. I'm glad. I hope to see more games like this, of course, as well. But I hope that people enjoy it as well. I sure have been as well. And, you know, we stream it a lot. We're always streaming the things that we get on YouTube. But, you know, it's just something that I feel like I had to talk about. I feel like this is an important conversation for the state of gaming as it is right now. So yeah, if you enjoy Love and Deepspace, I mean, you can also check out my streams. I do a lot of streams on Love and Deepspace. And I just wanted to talk about this again. I've been trying something new and making these videos of me just talking about things that needed to be talked about. So I hope you enjoy. And if you have any opinions, well, you can leave a comment and I'll be seeing you guys. Take care.